This is No Face Bigfoot, and welcome to my review of issues 38, 39, and 40 of the unauthorized Atari 2600 Throwback Zine. And these issues came out last summer, and today we're talking about a trio of blockbuster games. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. So first off, we're going to start off with Spy Hunter for the Atari 2600. And when this game came out in the arcades, it was amazing because it was like one part James Bond, one part racing. And you had to shoot other cars, you had oil slick missile, you had a missile launcher, smoke screen, and you could race in a boat. And actually they wanted more in the game. But let's go ahead and this is basically an overlook of the issue here. It also features Super Breakout, Laser Blast, which was an Activision classic. So let's go here. And of course we get words from the author there, words from Mike. This guy's a beast. He has really good stories and everything. There's a story in the next video I'll tell you about that happened to his magazine, unfortunately, thanks to Amazon. Of course, there we have the table of contents, and much more extensive than it used to be. Of course, first off, he always talks about the monthly collector series, and also in every issue, there's also talk about a walk to end Alzheimer's. It's a treacherous disease, and you never want to see anyone have it. So, you lose your mind and everything. But we're here to talk about the Atari 2600. Of course, the Moon Patrol we talked about in the previous video. That's the contest results. And here he gives an article about Spy Hunter. So, and on the Atari 2600, this is actually amazing for the time. Because the Atari 2600, they were. If you want a really good comparison, the original PlayStation is kind of like the Atari 2600 of modern consoles for 3D generation. So, but yeah, it is a really good game here. Really describes what goes on. Gives you a synopsis of the scoring of the game. And there were cars that had they would come out, spinners or something, and they would wipe you out. There are also invincible vehicles as well, so pretty cool. All right, and again, the graphics are actually really good for the Atari 2600 because by the time this came out, they had figured out a lot of the tricks. So there we go there. How to do a dual control, because the actual game, you had basically a racing wheel, not a circular one, but one of those that you hold with two hands. So, all right, and you had a high and low gear for it. Okay, vandalizing. Well, it's not vandalism. It's actually making a medallion. So, this is pretty cool stuff. There's some really good stuff in here. Strategy on Super Breakout. This is a really good game because it was a great follow-up. Also follow-up or sequel to the original Breakout because you could come two paddles and the game would go on forever. The original Breakout, once you broke down two brick walls, that was it. So, and there's a vintage ad for it. That's pretty cool. Knockout, sock out, shootout, shakeout, lookout, fake out, Super Breakout. Sounds like a rapper. Laser Blast. To me, this was probably one of the most boring games ever on the Atari 2600 because once you knew how to play it, it took forever. Yeah, it's a 100,000 point challenge. No way I would do that because I would fall asleep by the time I get it. It's actually well-made game, but it's just, it's boring. All right, the Enforcer. Latest proof of concept of the Enforcer. I believe this is where they were making a second button for the 2600, looks like. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Because the original 2600 only had one button. Alright. Console 5 review. Okay, so that's that. You might want to read this if you can actually order this now. All right. Ooh, Atomic Fireball Candy. Okay, there we go. All right, next month's preview, Maze Craze, one of the best games on the Atari 2600. And one of the first games that was like a rogue-like because each maze was different. All right, well, that shows you what's in the next issue. Mega Mania, again, it was based on an arcade game. It's one of the best games on the shooters on the Atari 2600. Killer hamburgers, flying irons, all kinds of stuff. All right. And then Season 3 of the Atari 2600 with tournaments. And, of course, the high score summary page. All right. Now let's move on to the next issue. The next one, like I said, a blockbuster. The most watched show in history of television, maybe not counting the Super Bowl, was the finale of MASH. And, of course, it goes... do 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 do. I used to watch this as a little kid. It was, of course, a show about the Vietnam War MASH unit where he patched people up. There is some very graphic humor, but at the same time, the show took on serious challenges, which was like at the time a lot of shows. Tackled. It was kind of those kind of shows were ahead of the times, things that we talk about now. But let's go this because it's getting dark outside here. Turn my light on. Let's see if the light will help here. It's getting dark out here. Here in Virginia, it's dark early. Unfortunately, there we go. All right, table of contents. We got MASH, Kumite, Mega Mania Adventure. Maze Craze, yes sir. All right, so here we go. All right, again, same thing as last month. Make sure you donate to an organization for Alzheimer's. It's a terrible thing. That and dementia are just absolutely... My grandmother had a form of dementia that was induced from shock treatments. That was terrible what they put her through at Tux Pavilion. I mean, she ended up in a mental institution the last 2 or 3 years of her life. And she was a very smart woman, and end up like she did was just terrible. Maze Craze. Loving memory of Jan Marcella. I forgot what this was about, but I know it has something to do with Activision. They actually went to look up about her, I think. Oh, complications of Alzheimer's disease in Pocatello, Idaho. Yeah, it's a terrible thing. I remember her. She was big in games, I think, if I remember correctly. Holy cow. 18 grandchildren, 31 great-grandchildren. Sound like my grandmother. All right, here we go. MASH. Beat the Computer. Yeah, this was one of the biggest shows of the 70s and early 80s. My dad watched this religiously. He served in Vietnam, so he knew about this show and everything that was about. It's a war that nobody ever talked about, and this was one of the few shows that actually tackled issues, that happened in Vietnam. But it talks about the game, the history behind it. It's a very good article. I mean, and again, it talks about the show. People like Hot Lips Houlihan and Alan Alda and all those good. It's a very good show. So, based on the episode of 5 O'Clock Charlie, I remember that. It's really crazy. Very good show. And of course, one of the boards was based on the game Operation. You hit some, it buzz you, and then you drop your hand, whatever. So, anyway, let's move on. Yeah, you don't want to do that. All right. And then it looks at Kumite, first look. Yes, there was a suit, some kind of lawsuit or something about the name or a trademark thing because it dealt with the name of another game. What was it? Was it Yakuza, I think? Or Tekken? Something to do with... Oh, no. Bloodsport. But I think that's a name of a Yakuza game. Kumite. All right, Mega Mania, this month's challenge. Yes! Flying irons, hamburgers, everything. This is actually based on a real arcade game, and it's not a port. is actually, it's like it's kind of like a reskin, but made for the Atari 2600. You have to shoot everything on alternating screens. These would go across, and in other ones they would come straight down, zigzag, or go like this. And it's really a weird game. One mode you can control control the missiles. The other ones, they would just go straight up. And you had to shoot if you didn't shoot everything by the end of this, you lose. By the time you lost all your energy, you go, and this is what you would fight: hamburgers, killer cookies, bugs, radial tires. Yes, radial tires. Diamonds, steam irons, bow ties. Yes, bow tie Tuesdays. Something very harmless we have at the school for the teachers. Space dice. All right. And then we have the Vintage Ash from Mega Mania. I played this game to death. I think my high score was like 200,000 on it. Maybe I got 300,000. And the first time I got it from my Game Boy Advance, I think it was for the Activision collection cartridge. I actually did pretty good on that, like 45,000, because I remember it was enough to get the patch on it. And back then you didn't have trophies. They actually had this stuff right here. All right. Okay. Easter egg challenge. Find the Easter egg in adventure. First video game. It was the initials of one of the developers. Awesome stuff. There's the map. One of the most advanced games on the Atari 2600, and the first adventure game, and the first game to have an actual real ending. Although Michael Knight might have, not Michael Knight, was it Night Driver, might have had that. Maze Craze, 256 variations. Actually, there were 64, and then after that, based on. Let's see if we can get more light here. Yeah, there we go. All right. So there we go. First 64, you see the whole screen. Then this part would block out for the next 64. The third 64, this would. And then for the last 64, this would only blink every few seconds. Really crazy game. Cops and robbers, straight up mazes, everything. Just one of the most amazing games, pun intended, for the system. There we go. All right, so I want to get on with this before it gets too dark out here. All right, next month's Double Dragon. Skydiver. I don't remember that game too much. And even when I did play, that wasn't very good. Another classic from Activision, Keystone Capers. All right, and then we have the scoring summary and the leaders and everything. So let's see. Can I make this brighter? No, that changes the camera. All right, so what I want to do is turn on the light here. Maybe we can get more light out here. All right. This isn't North Dakota where the sun doesn't go down at 10:30 or 10:40 at 5 at night, and you can still see the sun going down at 11:30 at night. All right, so the last one is Double Dragon. Hiya! Your hands will bleed. A lot of parents did not want this video game on the NES because it featured a woman getting punched right in the stomach. And it's, of course, a game about revenge. It had 4 levels. So there was a big brouhaha in the late 80s about porting this to the home consoles. And the Atari 2600 is not really in there. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this real quick. And again, this is really kind of where the beat-em-ups really took off. Keystone Caper, Skydiver. All right, so table of contents. Preview Battlezone. All right, so here we go. Again, example of venture, donate to Alzheimer's. And again, this is the original arcade game here. And they start out, go, punch a woman right in the stomach. It's pretty graphic for 1988, 87. Okay, So that's what it looks like. And then on the Atari, this actually looks pretty damn good for the time, because you cannot do boop on the Atari 2600 for the time. So Activision, towards when this is when the NES was already out, and the big thing, Super Mario was the head video game character in this charge at this point. So, you know, things have changed. If you had an Atari, it's because you couldn't afford an NES, or you had a hand-me-down system. So I didn't get to really play these games. Only later and on emulation like Stella. So this is what it looks like. And he actually maintained most of the stuff in the game. Kung Fu Master was the other one. Was it Kung Fu Master? I always get the name messed up. There we go. And it's very good. I mean, the graphics are very good. Very detailed for the time. I mean, and it has pretty much every screen. Now, it only can have like two characters or two opponents or enemies at the time on the screen. So, but yeah, that's really neat how they handled this. I mean, this is just beyond belief what they were able to do for the console. This is a 4-bit console we're talking about, not 8-bit. I mean, this is gorgeous for the Atari. Just incredible. This is crazy. All right, next up, Keystone Capers. You have to catch the villain. You have to catch the crook, the bad guy who breaks in. And, you know, if you notice, the characters are very stereotypical. What is that, a British cop or something, I think? Yeah, notice the stripes. Yes, very, very stereotypical. And you have to watch out for flying debris and grocery carts. You can go up an elevator, but, you know, this is what it looks like. And the graphics were stunning for the time. I mean, it's like PS5 quality for now compared to back then. So, yeah, this was really good game. Good concept. I wasn't very good at it, though. All right. So, and then Skydiver strategy. You know, you got to land on the marks here on the targets. I was never good at this game, and I played it very few times, so no way I would get 50 points. All right. And breaking news from the World Weekly News, which was the garbage newspaper, weekly newspaper for years, like Clinton being abducted by space aliens, or Ronald Reagan having or making out with a space alien. Did I just say that? Oops. Anyway, this is, I think, about the ET cartridges. You got to Google this. You know, I'm pushing on 20 minutes here. Oh my God, this is crazy stuff here. I think this is about, what is this, artwork or something? Yeah, I guess it is. Collector's tip. This guy's written a series of articles about collector tips. They're pretty funny. There we go. More stuff here. Atari versus Xbox. Sounds like Classic Game Room would do. And there we go. Next one, I'll talk about that in the next video. Alright, so that's it. Battlezone. That's amazing graphics. Yes, that's an Atari game right there. You can't beat that. I mean, I'm serious. This is something, it's amazing for its time. Robot Tank. And then we got our challenge scores and what you need to beat and when the date was, the contest ended. These are all the champions here. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's it. So anyway, that's going to be the end of the video here. 20 minutes worth. As y'all can tell, it's getting kind of dark out here. I'm going to try to fix the... Oh, that kills the brightness. Anyway, I know it's kind of dark, the video, but I was kind of busy today trying to take care of stuff with my cousin. I got people coming in this weekend. So anyway, I hope you liked the video. Give me a thumbs up if you haven't also. That's not how you say it. slap that thumbs up button. Slap that subscribe button if you love the video content. And keep on checking out the kill of the day as I continue to kill Nazi scum and Sniper Elite 5. I'm out. Peace.